That's the question this year, right? Who's going to be able to do it with the highest margin? And if anyone is able to do it, it's BYD because of, their superior manufacturing and vertical integration. BYD can do up to 75% of the car internally, including the battery, which is the biggest cost of the car. This gives it a massive advantage. Also, let's keep in mind that their exports are increasing every year, and these are higher prices. They're expecting to export close to 300,000 to 400,000 cars next year, 2024, from 200,000 this year. So that will help as well with the margins. So I think BYD will be okay, but we're gonna definitely, it looks like we're gonna see a little bit of a price war here, and the other EV companies could be a little bit in trouble.
Anthony, it seems to me that BYD is now the new sort of 800-pound alpha gorilla in the EV zoo, right? They overtook, in terms of sales, Tesla, fourth quarter. So Europe as a market is probably, they probably have no fingernails left. They've probably chewed them all off, right? The U.S., though, I'm really interested. BYD does not sell any passenger or sedan vehicles there yet, but they are in Mexico. Is that the back door?
Yeah, it sounds like it, but I mean, that's a very visible backdoor, right? And I think one day it's going to catch up to them, and hopefully what we're hoping for is some kind of a sensibility here, right, with regards to the EV market. Countries are going to have to cooperate, and and if they don't, then EVs are going to stay expensive, and countries will not be able to meet their climate goals. So one way to make it cheaper today is to include Chinese manufacturer and Chinese companies in a way that protects local interest as well. And what's the Inflation Reduction Act is trying to do now is trying to completely isolate, the U.S. market from Chinese manufacturer, and that's going to have a big impact on the price locally. Now, only 13 cars in the U.S. qualify for the Inflation Reduction Act. So it's kind of making it a little bit redundant. But Mexico could be a backdoor, but it's a visible backdoor.
Anthony, is BYD going to be collateral damage in what seems to be a brewing trade dispute, not only in Europe, but with the US now that China has filed this complaint at the WTO against what it sees as discriminatory subsidies for EVs in the United States?
I mean, I think the U.S. EV consumer is going to be collateral damage here because higher prices again, right? But BYD is in a good position here. They have, they're one of the top exporters to Brazil, to Australia, to many other countries in Europe as well. Although in Europe, the local regulators are kind of raising voices more, and they're the biggest seller within China, the biggest EV market. So they have plenty of demand to meet over the next few years, but certainly they need to get into the U.S. at some point in the next 2 or 3 years in order to be able to continue to grow at this level. In the short term, they'll be okay, but the U.S. EV consumer is not, is going to have to deal with higher prices, unfortunately.